Welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're targeting 4,200, bottom right hand corner for that. Smash a like on the video if you enjoy it as well. Today we're talking about Mohamed Kudus, Thomas Partey, a little bit on Kai Havertz. But I want to start with Mohamed Kudus. This news came out tonight and it got me very, very excited. Now, I think I spoke about Kudus way back before the summer window opened as an example of an option that I think would have been really good for Arsenal. Again, it's one of these, a bit like Timber, that I didn't think would happen. And suddenly it sounds like it's a possibility. So it came from Sammy Mockbell last night, who is a fantastic journalist, was really, really good on the Declan Rice, Timber and Havertz news. So top tier source, and he said Arsenal are eyeing a move for Mohamed Kudus, but they need to sell players first. He went on to say Arsenal are interested in Ajax's 40 million rated midfielder Mohamed Kudus, but are focusing on trimming Mikel Arteta's squad before adding to their £200 million recruitment spree. Arsenal sporting director Edu will now turn his attentions to outgoings with Kieran Tierney, Cedric Soares, Nicola Pepe, Albert Lokonga, Nuno Tavares and Rob Holding among those attracting interest that could tempt Arsenal into selling. That was then backed up by Team News and Ticks, who you'll know, not a journalist as such, but very close to the club. And he replied to someone confirming that Kudus would be looked at as a right-wing alternative or backup to Bukayo Saka, and then just confirm that the interest does exist. Not guaranteeing that it's going to happen, but it is a potential signing for us. And then, you know, if we look into Mohamed Kudus, if you're not familiar with who he is, very versatile player, plays for Ajax at the moment, 22 years old, he's about to turn 23, left-footed, which I think is quite important, actually, if you look at the makeup of our squad now, especially in an attacking sense, we could do with at least one more left-footed player. And for a right winger, I've always said and maintained, I would like Bukayo Saka's backup to be left-footed so that there is somewhat similar to Bukayo Saka in play style. Now, Kudus isn't that similar to Bukayo Saka in terms of his stature, in terms of his play style. But the great thing is, and the reason that I think probably Mikel Arteta is interested and why it makes sense for Arteta to be interested is how versatile he is. We know from pretty much all of the signings that Arteta makes, he wants them to be able to play across a number of positions. And if you look at Kudus' record, you know, he's played 46 games in central midfield. He's played 39 games as a centre forward. He's played 36 games as an attacking midfielder, sort of a 10. He's played 19 games as a right winger. So he absolutely has that sort of versatility. And I've seen highlights of him playing in multiple different positions, and he looks like he suits all of them. For me, I look at it, I think the options that he suits most are probably the left-sided 8, that kind of Granit Xhaka role, and then the right wing as a backup to Bukayo Saka. He scored plenty of goals. I think he's scored 44 goals in 152 games with 14 assists. That is not bad, especially for someone who's been playing as a central midfielder. And so, you know, I just do think, the way I look at it, that could be our final signing of the summer. And if it was, I really think because of the versatility that he has, that one signing is enough to cover pretty much every area of depth that we might be lacking at this stage, particularly that left-sided central midfielder and a backup right winger. So I'm very, very excited about the prospect of signing Kudus. I think in terms of the competition that we might face, the current favourites to sign Kudus if he was to leave Ajax this summer are Brighton. I would like to feel that we would beat Brighton in a transfer market. Obviously, we have a very good relationship with Ajax, having just done the signing of Rory and Timber. In terms of potential worries and issues about him, I saw it going around on social media yesterday that he has issues with injury and that he's not always available. Actually, that's not true. And specifically, the guy that spoke about it claimed that Kudus has a knee injury, an ongoing knee injury, which again just isn't true. And actually, last season he missed 6 games in total. One of those was he missed 2 games in the space of 6 days through illness, and the other one was a hamstring injury towards the end of last season that put him out for a month. And prior to that, really, the only big layoffs that he's had, one of them was a fractured rib, which is not the sort of injury you need to worry about long term. That's just a freak blow to the chest that put him out for a while. And the other one was a meniscal injury way back at the start of January 2021. So I don't see his injury record as a problem at all. It's certainly better than someone like Thomas Partey. So I don't think that's an issue. In terms of what he's like as a player, from what I've seen of him, very explosive, very, very quick, good technical dribbler, good finisher of the ball, has a really crisp strike, but also, and I think this is the key thing for playing that left-sided midfield role, very good at checking his mirrors, very good at turning out of trouble, and very good at progressing with the ball through the midfield. I saw just a highlight of a full game where he played kind of as an 8 in a pivot with a two-man pivot, and the amount of times that he received the ball, knew exactly who was behind him and where they were, and turned out and moved forward in the midfield. That is exciting for me. So look, KUDUS, very much an option for Arsenal and very much an exciting one. Now, interestingly, Sami Mokbel referred to the outgoings that Arsenal potentially need. One of those that he didn't mention was Thomas Partey. Mokbel didn't mention Partey as a potential outgoing. And it came out today from Fentuo. Thomas Partey has joined the Arsenal team in the US for pre-season. He didn't initially fly out with the team when they left on Sunday. It's understood Arsenal are no longer keen to offload the Ghanaian midfielder this summer. Now, that is very good news. Why the change of heart? Why are we suddenly not interested in selling him, having heard that we would be open to offers? Look, complete speculation. From what I had read, there was, for a Premier League footballer that had an ongoing investigation, there was going to be a hearing yesterday where they would either be charged or the case would be dropped. And now I don't know if that is true, but basically for this player, bail had continued to be extended, and you get to a point where you can't keep extending bail. You have to make a decision. Whether what we're hearing today is a result of whatever was decided yesterday and that now Arsenal are happy to keep him and he's gone to the US, I don't know. That's pure speculation. It could just be that realistically, you look around the market, you're not going to improve on Thomas Partey next year in terms of the money that we would get for him, where you can spend that money. If, which I believe you can't go and get a Tchouaméni or a Caicedo, I think you're better off with Thomas Partey next season. And so, based on that, I think that's fantastic. Because if you've got, again, KUDUS as an option at 8, that means you can have more games with Declan Rice at 6, which means Thomas Partey doesn't have to play every game. And there's been lots of talk about the fact that Thomas Partey is better when he doesn't play every game. That Thomas Partey isn't the sort of player that can play 95% of matches in a season, and that really he's better when he's playing 60, 70% of games. And so that depth of adding KUDUS and enabling Declan Rice to play in the 6 means that Thomas Partey doesn't have to play every game. And we saw from the first 60% of last season, Thomas Partey was unbelievable. And genuinely, I think keeping him would be fantastic. And going into next season with him, with Declan Rice, with Jorginho, and then with the likes of KUDUS, potentially Havertz, our midfield is in a seriously, seriously strong position. So if that's true, that we're no longer interested in selling Thomas Partey, I think that's fantastic news that I'm very happy with. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about in this video was Kai Havertz. I don't know if you've seen the sort of bombardment of abuse he's been getting today because, he didn't perform very well in an MLS All-Stars skills game last night, which, really is the peak of football. If you can't perform in an MLS All-Stars skills game, which is effectively a YouTube video, then you must be terrible. You must be terrible. And he broke history by not scoring from a crossing and volley challenge. The Chelsea fan base is an absolute freak show. I can't lie, they're a genuine freak show. I woke up this morning having not even really realised that skills thing was happening, and I'm waking up to so many Chelsea fans reveling all over social media about this game that they probably didn't know was happening and wouldn't have known had happened if Kai Havertz hadn't played. Just bizarre human beings. But I am confident that Arteta will get the best out of Kai Havertz. It might take a bit of time. Ultimately, he has spent 2 years at an absolute dustbin club that's gone flying through different managers, through different regimes, playing out of position It might take him some time to adapt, but I've no doubt that in the same way that we've got the best out of Martin Ødegaard, we will get the best out of Kai Havertz. And yeah, the abuse that he's getting online today is just... Some people probably need to look at themselves and question what they're doing with their lives. But there we go. That is it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm probably going to be live at 5 p.m. for a normal show. I then might be live at 1:30 a.m. for a watch-along of the MLS All-Stars game versus Arsenal. But I don't know. It depends how I feel later on. But like I said, please do subscribe if you're not already. Smash a like on the video if you enjoyed it. And have a great day. Cheers.